Danny Troy,
Yeah.
man, he's been doing it for a long, long time.
Yeah. I like the way that you play.
He's
Incredible.
the Danny Troy guy. Oh, don't give me that.
Christie Park, the home of North West Sydney football and Spirit FC. We hope everybody enjoys the game today between Spirit FC and Blacktown City. A reminder that Christie Park canteen is available for coffee, hot food, snacks and cold drinks. Smoking is prohibited in all areas of this venue. Any guest found smoking will be asked to leave the venue. If you wish to smoke, please do so 10 metres outside the entrance gate. Playing fields are out of bounds to all except for players and officials. Please ensure that leaving Christie Park and all rubbish is taken with you or placed in the bins provided. Please note that it is an expectation of all spectators respect the players and referees at all times whilst inside this venue. Spirit FC would like to thank our sponsors, Alpha View, Fort Care, New Horizon Air Conditioning, Zolaris, Swift Build, Nut Electrical, the Epping Club, Jerka and the Governor for their continued support of the Spirit FC programs. Spirit FC coached by David Trekovich. Number 1, Chris Marquez. 3, Kyle Williams. 4, Brady Smith. 7, Josh Mitrovic. 8, Greg Cornwell. 9, Bill Afubu. 10, Mikey Conosabo. 13, Simon Nicholas. 15, Jamie Krasowski. 19, Zane Alawalia. And 22, Takumi Afuka. For Blacktown. Blacktown City FC, coached by Mark Bitterman. We have 1, Caden Henderson. 3, Jared McKinley. 4, Lachlan Campbell. 5, Grant Lynch. 6, Adam Berry.
Good evening, everybody. Another warm welcome to Sydney's North. Christie Park playing host to two title hopefuls in patchy runs of form. Spirit FC hosting Blacktown City in round 17 of the NPL New South Wales Men's. Live across the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Alex Molchanoff delighted to be with you tonight. Plenty on the line for teams 3rd and 5th on the table coming into the night. Two teams separated by just a single point as we sink our teeth into the second half of the season. Both kicked off that second half with losses, though. Spirit against a skillful young Sky Blue side at the Illingdon Sports Centre on Friday night. Blacktown by the top of the table, Marconi Stallions. So the night takes on extra meaning because of the chance to solidify a top 6 final spot, because of the chance to put pressure back on the top of the table, Stallions, because of the chance for both to put themselves back in the hunt for an Australian Championship spot come the end of the season. Expecting goals, expecting an intriguing tactical battle between two of the competition's top coaches. Let's have a look at how they'll try to outwit one another. The team, Spirit, making just one change from that loss to Sydney FC a week ago. In comes Kylie Williams for Harrison Keys. The back five, Chris Marks in goal, Grant Cornwall, Brady Smith and Jamie Pashevsky through the middle, Simon Nicholas on the left and the aforementioned Williams on the right. Lucevic and Alawalia set to anchor a midfield behind an attacking trident that's been so dangerous this season. Takumi Afuka, Michael Contestavo supporting Yu Akubo. Two changes for Blacktown City after their 2-0 defeat by Marconi. Goals early from Damien Sekenis and late from Franco Maya that night. In goal, Caden Henderson resumes behind a back three of Ben Berry, the reinstated Grant Lynch, and Lachlan Campbell. Nick O'Brien drops out through suspension. Through the middle, Jared McKinley on the right as a wing-back. Jackson Bandiera off the left in that same position, returning to his former club. Through the middle, Adam Berry makes his first start since round 2 against this opposition in midfield alongside Maxim Yesh. And then Danny Choi and Marty Fernandez supporting Travis Major up front. So there's plenty of storylines to sink our teeth into tonight. The winner will be right amongst the title chasers. The losers will suddenly be looking a little bit below them to those trying to take their spot in the top 6. It's Spirit getting us underway in their home yellow and black, kicking from left to right. Blacktown in a slight change strip, the black tops with white shorts and socks. It's been more of a 4-4-2 for David Perkovic in the last couple of weeks. Move back to the back three that gave them so much success at the start of the season tonight, matching up against our Blacktown City sides who will be lined up in similar formation. Hopefully that leads to an attacking open game for us as neutrals. Glad to have your company from wherever you're joining us early on this Saturday evening. The Arctic Circle not quite living up to its reputation at this point, although we're expecting the temperature to drop as Contestavo had the ball do just that for him, and it wasn't a bad strike. Henderson had to be alive at his near post. Games between these two always seem to have goals, and Spirit have had the better of the history since their promotion to this division a few seasons ago. In the head-to-head battle, they're leading it 4-1. Blacktown City have never won at this ground in their 2 visits. Trying to change that narrative as well tonight. There have always been goals. Spirit have a fantastic goal-scoring record against Blacktown City. It was their win at Landon Stadium by 4-0 that established them as real contenders this season. Grant Lynch had a night to forget that evening. Sent off after making an error for the first goal. That performance was really out of character. He's had a week off. Missed that game against Marconi a week ago. Expect him to be fresh and back to his best. Ben Berry slotting into the heart of defence in the absence of Nick O'Brien, who's out having picked up his 5th booking against Marconi a week ago. Found themselves on a the wrong end of a night where they seem to be second to a lot of 50-50s. Vitsakovic is going to have a little bit to keep an eye on tonight. Referee that was in action in midweek. The Waratah Cup quarter-final, Australia Cup preliminary round 7 between the Northern Tigers and Hills United. Congratulations to Spirit's great rivals who've found themselves through to the national rounds for the first time. So that win during the week. And after a quick start from Spirit, it's Blacktown who've got themselves on the front foot here. Part of the problem that Blacktown have had against Spirit is conceding the first goal. They'd love to flip the script here this evening. 4 of those 5 encounters, all of Spirit's wins, they've scored the first goal. Marty Fernandez trying to weave his way through to counter that. Jared McKinley, who spent a season with Spirit last time around, turned into this ground for the first time since, and he's won his new club an early corner. He's found himself in a slightly different role for Mark Crittenden than he played here for David Perkovic as well. Most often a central midfielder. He's been deployed as a wing-back for most of the year. Fruitful start for him down the right. Header came back off Marty Fernandez. Not that he knew much about it or could have done much about it. Bit of defensive solidity shown by the Spirit from that first attacking Blacktown set piece. Slate of games for you tonight across the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. We've already had one start and finish. The Western Sydney Wanderers and Sydney Olympic playing out a 1-1 draw out in Reedy Hill. This is the biggest in terms of implications up the top of the table as Ben Berry put his head and body on the line. He's recovered to go back into his central defensive position. A very late challenge from Grant Cornwall. Just wiped out Fernandez, really. And Vitsakovic has a stern word. Don't want to be getting the cards out of the pocket this early in the game, but that was very late. Blacktown could satisfy themselves with an early attacking set piece. Adam Berry standing over this one, a key inclusion today for Mark Crittenden, making his first start since March. Have missed his ball-playing ability and sureness of mind in the centre of the field. And he was on trials with European clubs because of his technical ability in his young career. With a bit of a more experienced head now in his late 20s. That ball was bent in without the quality that we're used to seeing, but it'll take a little while to get that radar back. Saw him wandering into the ground with brother Ben. They're going to be both key through the spine of Blacktown City's side tonight. Here is Ben going up for this ball with Iwakubo. It's a more physical battle than most anticipate against the Japanese striker, who is Spirit's leading scorer to this point in the season. Yash doing well to just wrangle his leg around to win the ball off his opposite player. Alawalia entrusted with this early throw. It looks as though Alawalia is the one who's been moved out to this right wing back position after starting the last couple of weeks in the centre of midfield. Brady Smith moved forward alongside Frankie Lucevic. Kaya Williams on the left side of the back three, Pasewski through the middle, and Cornwall on the right. See how that all unfolds as the night goes on. Nice touch from Contestabo, who's been in good form. Scored a goal and was unlucky not to be credited with another on Spirit's last occasion here at home, that 5-0 win against Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Comprehensive that evening. Fuka was one of the players of the night. That's a gorgeous switch for Alawalia. Looking to tee it up for a Kubo. Still might fall for Contestabo. It was very intricate from Spirit, and considering the ball was in the air for the majority of that unfolding attack, some very nice technical play. Now Blacktown's turn to try and go in counter-attack. Both teams throwing caution to the wind in the early stages as Cornwall does the defending. Expected an open game, expected goals. Always get them between these two. Nothing we've seen in the opening 7.5 minutes to dissuade us of that prediction. Blacktown in need of goals themselves. They've scored some comfortable victories, but all of their last 4 games, the losing team has been held to nil. 2 clean sheets and 2 losses without scoring for them. Want to find their way onto the score sheet early for that reason. Gorgeous ball from Fernandez. Major, who started his career as a wide player, has drifted out to the right-hand side. Yesh through the middle. Going to link up with Fernandez. Comfortable save for Marks. But it's moving a mile a minute early this game. Two teams that have been playing high-quality football for so much of this season. Bettered them in with a couple of shoddy performances apiece, but for the most part, there is a reason that these two are right amongst the title chasers. We're seeing some of that high quality from both sets of players in the opening stages here. Crowd that was a little sparse for the women's game that preceded this one. Mount Druitt actually got the win in that game against the Spirit side, boasting a number of returning A-League women's stars. Spirit just slowing the tempo for the first time in the opening 10 minutes. Berry's combining to try and knock the ball down for Blacktown. Frankie Lucevic, who's making such for a name for himself, has barely missed a minute of football for Spirit this season. The American. Berry being asked to show off his technical quality, did well enough to get his side out of trouble and win them a throw. Been a run in the team for Jackson Bandiera, who's taking this throw for the first time really since his return to Blacktown City. Found his way to a couple of different clubs during his few seasons away, most recently with Sydney Olympic. Rejoined Blacktown towards the back end of last season. Returned to the position where he won a grand final back in 2022. On the left side of this Blacktown defence with Grant Lynch. Lachlan Campbell got a goal that night. And Berry was at the very early stages of his first grade career. Had a key run in that, played a key role, I should say, in that run to the final. Both teams set to welcome back a few from injury over the next couple of weeks. Mitch Marlier been struggling with that foot. Ollie Wigan, who hasn't seen the field so far this season, set to be welcomed back for Spirit over the next week or two. Corey Kavanagh as well. Football driving the right direction as well. Through Fuka. He's found a purple patch of form in the last couple of weeks. Smith. Simon Nicholas being hurried and hassled as he made his way back towards his own goal, and then Lucevic has it nipped off him. A lot of little comings together between players, but Ivicakovic has been keen to let play flow. He's contributing to a very fast start. Fuka just didn't time his run. Ball just a little ahead of Akubo in any case. Here plenty from both technical areas tonight. Both Crittenden and Perkovic keen to get their teams back on the right track in the winner's circle. After losses last time out, Blacktown not able to repeat their late heroics against the Marconi Stallions in round one. Jacob Kresnar popped up with a very late equaliser. He's back on the bench today after missing last weekend altogether. Going to be pressed to get his spot back off Jackson Bandiera now, if he can continue his good form. Lovely touch from Fernandez, just slalomed past Williams. Berry across in cover, pace not his biggest asset, but the ball in wasn't too bad. Cornwall back to help out his goalkeeper. Campbell stepping forward, trying to keep the attack alive. Good challenge from Kaya Williams, and then a little too direct. And offers a handed apology. Perkovic at the edge of his technical area, just asking his team to use the ball a little bit quicker. It's been fast, but it's also been a little bit frantic, I'm sure, for both coaches' liking. Kubo showing his quality. Bandiera with a fairly cynical pullback of the Japanese striker. Saw this a bit from Blacktown last weekend. They were keen to make sure that their opponents weren't able to build quickly and counter-attack. Copped a number of bookings across the game. This time, Kubo pinged himself for going through the back of Ben Berry. Had a big matchup with Damien Sekenis a week ago. Physical in nature as well. Coming into the centre of defence today in the absence of Nick O'Brien. We predict that will be more the case. 15 minutes gone here and they have flown by. Clear day in Sydney, a gorgeous day at different stages. Turned into a very clear, pretty temperate evening. Smith, most often utilised as a central defender, but someone given licence to step into midfield by David Perkovic, starting position a little bit further forward today. That's better from Spirit, what they're looking for through Cornwall and Lucevic, and then loose from Michael Conestabo. But the plan is to go direct. I don't think there can be any doubt about that. You know, Blacktown have had trouble defending teams that have gone direct against them. That was most in evidence at home a few weeks ago against Sydney FC, who went route one and got all the rewards for it in a 5-0 victory. So the Blacktown were disappointing in their own performance. Seem to have corrected a lot of the errors there, and Travis Major has stuck it home. They've given Spirit a taste of their own medicine. Choi off the shoulder, and it's his old link-up with Travis Major that provides the opening goal. Just his fourth of the year for City's all-time top scorer, but it was a poacher's effort when Marks came and didn't collect. Had to stretch every sinew, but managed to turn the ball home, and Blacktown have that all-important opening goal. Caught Spirit by surprise, caught most onlookers as a bit of a shock. Not on the form guy, Blacktown City taking the lead here. Not a surprise in itself. The manner of the goal must be encouraging for Mark Crittenden. Two good passes. And they've drawn first blood on this all-important evening. Will jump a fair way up the table with a win tonight. Over Spirit into third place. Just a point behind Rockdale. And 6 behind Marconi ahead of those two playing tomorrow. Neither of these teams having cup football to worry about any longer this season. In fact, I'll correct that because Blacktown City have got a game against the SD Raiders on Wednesday night out at Landon Stadium. Which could see them through to the Australia Cup round of 32 for another year. Got a big draw against Adelaide United there a year ago. They'd love to be in the hat for another big visit of an A-League club. Been blessed with a few of those down the years. Just sticking a foot in is Simon Nicholas, who just puts up a hand in apology to the referee as he retreats to his defensive position. A real sucker punch to Spirit. It started this game fairly brightly. Certainly held more of the football. Hadn't done an awful lot with it, in fairness, but looking in control of the game. That narrative has flipped well and truly now. Blacktown looking buoyed by the opener. And Marty Fernandez beating Cornwall to the ball. A little bit of a touch on the defender. Comes back to Marty Fernandez. His dribbling ability is well renowned. Very happy to just keep possession. Plenty of observers of this competition have noted how much Blacktown have missed Berry's ball-playing ability. Might have just seen his ability to control the tempo of a game as well. At the heart of Blacktown's midfield. Provide space for Choi and Marty Fernandez to play the link a little more than having to come so deep and get possession off the defence. Cornwall manages to manufacture a free kick. Backing into Bandiera. Blacktown wanting to press Spirit as they try and play out. Jamie Pasewski choosing the right moment to step into midfield and win his side the free kick. Fuka. Campbell will be in close attention all evening, and this time the challenge deemed unsporting by the referee. Might have caught a bit of the ball, but certainly caught plenty of the Japanese midfielder Fuka as well. Spirit have gone short, and quickly. Nicholas changing the angle. Campbell is able to clear as the furthest forward of the defenders. So now a bit of an equation for Spirit to try and untangle. They haven't been great coming from behind, certainly not as solid as they've been playing from in front this season. Blacktown, who've been a little bit loose in their own play at times this season. I haven't seen it tonight until that point. Fuka. Campbell timing his challenge beautifully. Might have won inside a free kick as well. Moves the ball on quickly to Berry, and now Major. Berry did well to win inside the throw. Now Blacktown will just look to try and take some of the sting out of the game because Spirit are still playing at a very good intensity. Conditions that are perfect for football this evening. Pasewski, knowing he was headed out of play, tried to buy the free kick. Referee Kovic wasn't a willing purchaser of this ale. Inventive clearance, but only as far as Major. And back his way towards goal. Good strength. Lovely feet from Fernandez. Haven't seen too much of that this season. Just walked himself into a little bit of a cul-de-sac and the ball trickles harmlessly behind.
Brady, a little bit more communication in the middle, yeah?
Lucevic.
Open your body, Subby.
mentioned there's been patchy form for both these teams coming into this game. Spirits started the season on a terrific unbeaten run that almost lasted 10 games before they were knocked off here by Marconi. And went on not managing to win through the entirety of the month of April. But then prior to that game against Sydney FC last weekend, they were unbeaten in 4. So it really has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. Thankfully, it's taken them closer to the top of the table than it has in seasons past. It's been set out a real challenge here in the early stages. Having started fairly brightly. Kodestabo. He's been one of the picks of the players when he has been fit. Had that nipped off his toe by his opposite number, Yej. And now there's a chance for Blacktown to go in transition. Sure, he might have been offside. Now the whistle goes for just out of fence. Some players with hands on knees. Such has been the intensity of the opening. If it comes through on the stream quite as well as being here in person, but this game, it really has not wanting to stay on the point too long. It's been played with all guns blazing. Players flying into tackles, keen and competitive. And Spirit's desire to keep the ball in play as much as possible has really motored this game along. For the first time they stop and will throw numbers forward from a set piece. It's putting a halt to the quick, intricate interplay of the early moments. Lucevic entrusted with the dead ball responsibility. There's a wall of black shirts along the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's the goal scorer, Travis Major, who got his head on the clearance. Cornwall for Alawalia, and again it's Major clearing his lines. Head freshly shaved tonight, might have brought him luck. Decent ball, but Akubo was offside. Well held line by Blacktown City's defence. Something that's been much improved from them over the last month or so. A place where they were copping so many goals early in the season. That route for opposition teams seems to have been closed up or at least narrowed significantly. Now Mark Crittenden's at the edge of his technical area, urging Blacktown to keep the tempo high. Mentioned it would be as fascinating a tactical encounter between these two coaches as the technical and physical one. The examination that the players are going under. It's made for compelling viewing. Each team tries to outfox the other. Cornwall had to be very careful there with Choi lurking. Reminiscing with a couple of people during the week about the effect that Major and Choi have had on this football club, along with Malia, over the past decade or so. All have spent time away from the club, but have inevitably found their way back, and part of another hunt for silverware in 2025. 10 years after they all burst onto the scene, but there's defending to do here. Lovely football from Spirit. There's the equaliser, and well deserved because of the way they crafted it. And who else but Kubo on the end. A 9th strike of the season. And he won't get too many easier. Had to steer it home, but the hard work had been done in the build-up. Gorgeous football. And again, Blacktown, having looked more and more comfortable, caught cold by a flood forward of yellow shirts, and they were just queuing up. Simon Nicholas picking the perfect moment to join in the attack. Push forward into the wing-back position again tonight. And making that delivery count. Well, we promised goals. We've got a couple inside the half hour. And they've both been beauties as well. Spirit's in its intricate nature. Players' movement off the ball, the preciseness of the passing. And Blacktown, because of how direct they were. Two gorgeous long passes. Contrast. What do they say about styles making fights? This is certainly a fixture that's looking as though it's going to take us all the way. I don't want to call it too early, but this could quickly turn into one of the games of the season if both teams continue at this level. Has been a ripping opening 30 minutes. It's high quality as you'll see across the competition. Both have turned up for the occasion. It's creating a terrific battle. Grant Cornwall feigning the throw there from a good 4 or 5 yards onto the pitch. That's interesting. You wonder how much, not only the losses last week, and that will motivate players in its own right, but also the quality of opposition they came up against a week ago. Blacktown against the competition's league leaders, and Spirit probably against its form team in the young Sky Blues, despite their midweek defeat by St George FC. That's another team that are coming into their own as the second half of the season begins. Level of the football across the competition, improving week on week. And we're getting a terrific example of it tonight. Spirit winning the free kick through Michael Cottestabo. And this with some still major outs for both teams. Talked about already. Both the O'Briens, after copping 5th yellow cards last weekend, both of them have been in fine form as well for Mark Crittenden. The Spirit, who are still waiting to welcome back to their stars in Corey Kavanagh and Ollie Wigan. Good headaches for both managers to try and sort through. Spirit's turn to try and press. Henderson's clearance letting him down a little. And now there's a chance for Spirit to really hurt Blacktown. Cottestabo off the shoulder of Lynch, and Henderson manages to recover his initial error. Sharp piece of goalkeeping, not for the first time tonight. Well, the youngster who's been brought through in goal by Mark Crittenden, forced because of the move of Tristan Prendergast to Sydney United 58, just as Alex Robinson was brought in during their 2022 championship winning campaign as a 17-year-old. He's now a young Socceroo and enjoying life out at MacArthur in an A-League system. And the goalkeeper of the year back in 2022. A ripe old age of 17. Caden Henderson has taken on a big responsibility. Not as natural a talent as Robinson, but certainly held that position pretty well behind a defence that hasn't always helped him this season. This time it's Ben Berry stepping into a challenge. Pretty non-threatening position. Might be a challenge he'll want back.
Taki!
Well, it wasn't the initial ball in that gave Spirit their opening goal, but it was built from passage of play that followed a set piece. Takumi Afuka over to be entrusted with this one. Victokovic giving his whistle a loud blow just to stop some of the antics happening in the penalty area. It seems to be Lachlan Campbell and Ewa Kubo have taken a particular dislike to one another. Michael Cottestabo at the edge of the box, just having a word with Zane Alawalia and Simon Nicholas, but I think it's Brady Smith who's in there with Campbell trying to defend his star striker somewhat. Now all the hands are down. the ball can be delivered. It was a dangerous one for Blacktown. Thankfully struck Major. From a City perspective, it's a very testing ball from Afuka again. So proficient over the dead ball. Kinley can only head backwards, and Campbell won't be able to save it from going behind for another Spirit corner. Building pressure through set pieces in the last 5 minutes or so. Blacktown, who've had their issues defensively in this part of the pitch over the course of the season so far. Always lobbed deep. Major didn't get to that one, and Kaya Williams couldn't stick it home before Cornwall flashes it across the face. Had 2 bites at it there, the Spirit centre halves who'd made their way forward. Well, they're quite showing a striker's poise. Kaya Williams just battering it into a stable of bodies in front of him. And Cornwall not able to direct it on target. 10 minutes to go in this first half. We don't want it to end. I feel there might just be another goal or two before the break as well. Kubo has been so lively so far in this game. Blacktown struggling to deal with him, but Yesh did well to nick it off his toe. And then Pesevsky blocking off Choi in response. Bandiera blocks it out of play. Everyone appealing for free kicks, none being given.
Gotta move again. Gotta move again.
Spirit trying to change the angle of attack. Kaya Williams has got the ball playing power. He's showing us some running power as well. Campbell brought his run to a shuddering halt, but did it illegally, right in front of the referee. Enterprising run from Kaya Williams. We haven't seen too much of that so far in his first grade career. Got his second goal at this level a couple of weeks ago against Mount Druitt. He's forward looking for a third here. Pesevsky's up, as is Grant Cornwall. Lucevic goes the other way, and Cornwall is there. Oh, he almost got there in front of Bandiera. Conestabo, a good strike. Afuka! Well, I think it was Lockie Campbell to the rescue. Blocking right in front of his goalkeeper. Not sure if Henderson had an angle or a play at it, but Lockie Campbell wasn't about to find out. Sticks a boot out and deflects it behind. It's been all Spirit in the last 5 minutes. Love a goal to show for it. Bring them from behind to take the lead. And Henderson did well to rise above the on-rushing pack there. Claimed it well. Good piece of goalkeeping. Been good football all around so far in this first half. Fernandez has had his say. Seeing everybody back to their best. Choi for Major. That was the combination that led to the opener. And Berry steering this one towards goal. Connor Starbo back on the edge of his 6-yard box to make the block. All hands on deck at both ends. And after Spirit's glut of corners, it's Blacktown's turn to try and fire in something dangerous. Yeah, Shop offering the short option. You can see a picture there, but been turned away by Adam Berry. So towards Major, only picked out Pesevsky. Leaps out to clear on the second time of asking as well. Sloppy touch from Bandiera. And Afuka's got the pace to make him pay. Bandiera almost rugby tackling him to the floor. And finally, the first booking of the night is out. Won't have an easier decision all evening, I wouldn't think, if it's Ivitsakovic. After he'd made that first poor touch. And again, Campbell and Akubo have found one another. In the centre as the Japanese striker tries to play the ball back for the set piece to be delivered. Need your wits about you to keep up with everything that's happening out there at the moment. Refereeing team not having the easiest of evenings. Managing to keep a handle on things for now. Lucevic has to play something delicate. Major showing his athleticism. Say the same of Marty Fernandez sweeping across there. Good work from Williams, though. Got his body in front and won his side to throw. That open flowing football of the early stages has gone slightly. Spirit are trying something more structured to break down their opposition in the closing moments of this first half. Lucevic. Uncompromising challenge from Bandiera, but fair. Nicholas had half a thought about lining up. Would have taken something special from there. Fernandez has stayed down in back play for Blacktown. And now Pasewski indicating he wants to play the ball out, given the attack wasn't really developing. It was an awkward one for Marty Fernandez because he'd flown across in cover defensively and then was just taken slightly off the ball. Saw one, hopefully, given the fact it's a contact injury, one he'll be able to recover from. And right in the bottom of his back. Been a sore one. It's the time to quickly regroup for the leaders of both sides who've both made their way over to have a chat with their coaching staffs. Major with Matty Bingley and Mark Crittenden. Great Cornwall taking on a well-earned drink. Seeing him in contact there with David Perkovic's assistant, Luca Falcone. Plucked in the line. I don't think either coach will be thinking too hard about changes. They would be pleased enough with what they've seen. And Berry's header was spinning through the night sky. Bandiera happy to lob it up. Cornwall with Choi arriving slowly. Making sure he pressed him in a corner. Conestobo, oh, I thought he might have stayed onside there. Just stepping. Stepped one way, then the other. And the direction seems to have come from the Blacktown City technical area as well, that the quick stuff can stop. Both sides might just be content now to find their relative sanctity of the dressing rooms. If either can pinch a goal before half-time, they'll be even more glad for that half-time whistle. Decision there going one way, then the other. It's ended in Spirit's hands. Campbell and Lynch and Fernandez. Fernandez solved the right side of Cornwall from a Blacktown City perspective, but the Spirit captain managed to get back and recover. Now Fuka's going one-on-one with his wing back in McKinley. Call it a draw. The Spirit are just asked to retain possession.
Information with the pass,
Alawalia, furthest we've seen him forward, and Conestobo a little sloppy by stepping offside. Look along the entirety of Blacktown's defensive line and still managed to step offside. Hold his head to the heavens. Modest surroundings, but a very high quality game of football here at Christie Park. Lynch going route one this time with no chaser. So there's all these sorts of challenges for Blacktown to try and see off now. Never kept a clean sheet against Spirit. That record is going to continue. Haven't won at Christie Park before. That challenge is going to continue. Haven't even claimed a point here in their 2 visits. Kubo did well to get over the top of the taller Ben Berry, and Afuka was helped over. But Berry, not blessed with support, but clever enough to win his side the throw and get himself out of trouble. Flattering challenge from Campbell. He did collect the ball first, and Spirit might still have something dangerous here. Conestogo again flagged offside. And Afuka has been left at a heap on the floor, which is not best pleased the Spirit coaching staff, who are having a very firm word with the 4th official, Thomas Dale. Did look as though Campbell got the ball first, but Afuka felt the brunt of the challenge nonetheless. Afuka has thankfully returned to his feet. Just going to be the lone minute added on at the end of this first half. Can really be put down to how both teams have looked to play their football. There's barely been a stoppage. It's become a little bit more agricultural in the last 10 or 15 minutes, but the start of this game was brilliant in its pace and attacking nature from both sides. Both have been rewarded with a goal. They can't be split. Maybe one last bite of the cherry for Spirit. And Conestogo's taking up the attack. Lynch read it well. Alawalia nicks it over him. And Brady Smith lost out. Maxim Yesh. It's a slurry, a slate of recovering defenders for Spirit. It might spring forward themselves. And Conestogo makes it 2-1. I'm not sure how much he knew about it, but he put himself in the right spot. And the hosts have come from behind to lead before the break. Right on the stroke of half-time. A heartbreaker for the visitors. They might have had a chance themselves only moments earlier. But Spirit so quick, so cunning in transition. Cutting through Blacktown's defence. And Michael Conestogo flops on the ball to send it home. And give Spirit another half-time lead against Blacktown. It's the story of the fixture. The visitors are far from out of it. They've created so much themselves in the first half. Probably not quite as much as their hosts, but Chris Marks certainly hasn't had a quiet evening. Suddenly, Travis Major's opener seems a long time ago. Still, Blacktown might get something late. It's in towards Major. Half away by Pasewski, helped on by Smith, and that will do. A big win for Spirit just before half-time. Michael Conestogo. Right place, right time. 8th league goal of the season. What a fabulous return from a player who doesn't play as an out-and-out striker. On the back of Yua Kubo's equaliser. Right on the half-hour mark. All that after Travis Major had given Blacktown City the lead. They look to be full of momentum. But their hosts have been able to turn it around in a highly entertaining first half that went from end to end for all 45 minutes. And that little bit of stoppage time that allowed Michael Conestogo to give Spirit the lead. Alex Molchanoff with you here at Christie Park. Been a fabulous first half. You hope you'll stick around for the second. But as the teams head to the sheds, it's Spirit FC 2, Blacktown City 1. Welcome back to Christie Park. The second half about to get underway between Blacktown City and Spirit FC. Spirit coming from a goal down to lead 2-1 before half-time. Yua Kubo scoring the first and setting up the second for Michael Contestabo in the dying embers of the opening half. Travis Major had opened the scoring after just 15 minutes, but Blacktown are going to have to try and find an answer again. Spirit playing quickly in transition has caught Blacktown out a couple of times. Beautifully crafted first, a direct and incisive second. How will the second 45 minutes play out? Blacktown have had trouble keeping this opposition from finding the back of the net. That problem has continued in the opening half. Can they strike back? They start with the football in the second half. We are underway. Alex Molchanov with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel tonight from a cool Christie Park. Not down in the depths of winter temperatures just yet, but starting to feel a little bit of the bite of the cold.
Come on, switch on, yeah, let's go.
No changes for either team at the break. It's an engrossing first half of football. Both teams really looking to get at one another. And we have actually had a change at the break. And it's Jackson Bandiera who's been removed for Jacob Kresnar at left wing back. Bandiera not tracking Michael Contestabo for the second goal. I wonder if that has played a part in Mark Crittenden's decision. Nice bit of touch from Jared McKinley. Major's taken up the attack. Bright start from Blacktown, and Choi might have turned it home as well. Cornwall close enough to affect the finish. Just as they did in the first half, Blacktown have come out all guns blazing. And it's Major and Choi that have made the difference for them in an attacking sense. After a quiet few weeks between them, both look dangerous so far in this game. See if they can continue that as it wears on. Major's hold-up play has been really terrific tonight. A higher level than we've seen since his move up there by Mark Crittenden. But it's going to be a test. Spirit's defence, although a little leakier in the last month or so, is still the second stingiest in the competition, behind only Marconi's. Mentioned in the first half after they copped that opening goal, they've not picked up too many points from losing positions this season, but managed to get themselves in a winning one before even getting to that half-time break this time around. Brody Smith's move into midfield as rewards as well for David Perkovic, setting up the opening goal. The burst through midfield into the attacking line. And sweeps that one over onto Christie Park, number 2 behind our broadcast position here. Plenty on the line for both teams tonight. The winner will end up in third position with Rockdale and Marconi to play tomorrow. In fact, Spirit with a win tonight would move level on points with Hillenden ahead of their game against St George FC tomorrow down in Rockdale. But Blacktown, just like in the first half, are putting together some very pretty moments of football. Adam Berry, a big part of it in his return to the starting side. Now Kresnar's trying to get into a crossing position. Pasevsky's forced to put the ball behind. Blacktown came out needing a response. They've provided it. So Adam Berry will call on the tall timber, including Ben, to wait for. Major's been in and around these set pieces. Again, if Itzakovic has spotted something, Adam Berry's rolled it just a half a yard outside the quarter circle around the corner. Now he's set to deliver. Easy catch for Marks. Major didn't get a free run at it. Feel he may have been the intended target. Kubo so clever at just getting his head to balls like that. Plays well above his height. It's a strength to play as a hold-up man, as well as being so deadly when presented with goal-scoring opportunities. 9th strike of the league season. There's the equaliser tonight. Good run from Marty Fernandez. He's caught Spirit's defence cold slightly. Nicholas back to clear his lines, and Contestabo's making his way forwards. Going at his old teammate McKinley. Vucevic will try and switch the angle of attack. Cornwall. Longer serving by some distance of the Spirit players. Campbell, not quite clear. Picked up by Afuka. And he's onside. Contestabo might have made it 3. Everybody stopped as though waiting for the flag to go up. It never came. And that could be a big, big moment in the context of this match. Would have taken some comeback for Blacktown to recover from 2 goals down. Thankfully for them. Ball finds its way past the outside of Caden Henderson's post. As mentioned in the first half, no Jack O'Brien for Mark Crittenden to call on off his bench tonight. Picked up his 5th booking of the season against Marconi a week ago. Cornwall finding himself a long way forward. McKinley's ball misdirected, which meant that Blacktown weren't able to take advantage of Spirit's skipper being so high up the park. They're clearing headers from Blacktown, just not quite getting the purchase on them. The bright start has fizzled out somewhat in the second half. Spirit with the ball where they want it. Pasewski just stepping through midfield. Contestabo providing the width. It's his goal that gave them the lead just before the break. Good piece of defending from Ben Berries. Looked good through the centre. It's not been his fault at all. The goals coming together off the ball between Fernandez and Smith. Expletive let out there by Smith. Apologies if that came through. And Afuka is in behind again. Blacktown caught. And Kresnar's tackle caught enough of the ball. Brilliant recovery from the left wing back. His pace getting him out of a big bit of trouble. Suddenly there's a couple of moments that Spirit might look back on with regret if Blacktown are able to find that equaliser. Again, becoming increasingly physical as it wears on. That's a sloppy bit of play from Campbell. His challenge was brilliantly timed to recover the situation. Kinley reading the play well, stepping in. Ball over the top. Major's broken the line. He's onside. The angle was too tight to beat Marks. Stood up well at his near post. There's just a couple of moments like that going in Blacktown's favour. Suddenly it's Spirit who can't work their way out of their own half. Choi. Oh, his creative influence. Picked out Fernandez from a best part of 25, 30 yards. McKinley. Ball that hizzed and fizzed its way across the Spirit penalty area. Kresnar recovering on the far side. Good bit of play from Alawalia. Clever back heel. Ben Berry had found front spot ahead of Akubo. Haven't seen that too many times this evening. Lynch for Kresnar. Choi this time hadn't timed his run.
Hey, Spirit! More communication! Come on!
You can hear David Perkovic's thoughts on all that. Crying out for his team to provide a little bit more torque than they have in the opening 8 minutes or so of this second half. Interesting to see at what time either coach pulls the trigger on a second substitution. It would be for Mark Crittenden after Jacob Kresner replaced Jackson Bandiera at half-time, very much like for like. There'll be a switch in systems. Fernandez and Nicholas. This is a good little matchup. Two of the best one-on-one in the competition. Fernandez has beaten him with a swivel of the hips initially. Nicholas recovered well. Kubo just holding McKinley to that little battle. For Crittenden, the running power of Jesper Weber is there. Made his first grade debut for Blacktown City off the bench last weekend. Sebastian Hayward's been a big part of their campaign this season. 19-year-old midfielder. Demo, another teenager, and Keanu Moore is the experienced head should they look to him. Spirit, there's not too many defensive options on the bench tonight for David Perkovic. Bring you those subs in just a moment. Because Cornwall's trying to battle his way forward. Ball's launched clear by Ben Berry. Marko Arambasic had a good run of form actually. Moved back to the bench today. Starting the last couple of weeks. Charlie Brumed is there. Very talented young player. Jake Chidiak, Austin Oates, Harry Keys. All recent introductions to the first 11. Christoph Chen, the backup goalkeeper. Not an out-and-out defender there for David Perkovic on his bench tonight. Which with a little bit of a miscue. It's been a better night than it was for him at Landon Stadium back in round 2. He's looking for the players up the other end to give them something to defend again. Kubo used a hand to control in all that. That's why the whistle's gone against him. Or it's actually gone out of play, so a throw for Blacktown City. Fuka a little, trying to be a little cute, and can say the same of Maxim Yej. This time it's Adam Berry sweeping up in front of his defence. Alex Molchanov with you this evening for all the action from this round 17 game on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Good ball from Conestabo, and Fuka was followed all the way by Lynch. Lost his balance as he took that first touch. A couple of other games in progress as well tonight. You're able to find where you found this one. Sutherland and Manly still locked at 0-0 down at Seymour Shore. About an hour into that one. And the shadows of half-time. RPL Leichhardt leading the Central Coast Mariners by a goal to 0. One kicking off later tonight between St George City and the Wollongong Wolves. 7:15 kickoff, so you'll be able to flick over to that one after you've finished here. Yeah. Not quite had your fix of football for a Saturday. Wally is defensive header, and as far as Choi. And now Major. It's going to be the one to pick the lock for Blacktown City. Kresner thought about attacking the byline, then just laid it off. Choi and Major trying to combine. Cornwall did well enough to get in front when he side the free kick. Second sub is coming for Blacktown City shortly. Sebastian Hayward being readied. Just to add a number in the centre of midfield. Well, that Spirited just getting Blacktown's number in that end of the area of the pitch at the minute. We're ticked towards the hour mark. Didn't Kubo hang for a long time in the air there. It's ended up at the feet of his Japanese counterpart, Takumiya Fuka. Smith. The centre half come central midfielder. I felt he should have got the decision there.
What do you say? Get off the sideline!
Major dropping very deep to get involved in this little bit of build-up. There's appeals for a handball, and then Campbell took down Contestabo. Referee lets it all go. Nicholas for Smith with 2 in pursuit. Still managed to get it round the corner for Contestabo, who was offside. Not the first time tonight Michael Contestabo has been caught the wrong side of the defensive line. Now that substitution does come. Adam Barry returning to starting football. Only had an hour in the legs. Been a positive addition for Mark Crittenden, but not been able to turn the tide quite here. Williams just a little hesitant there, and Choi did beautifully to make his way past. Smith brings him down. So Spirit will hold their high line. This is the way they like to defend these set pieces. It's been a good strategy for them across the season so far. Good 5 yards outside the 18-yard box. Means they've attacking plays for Blacktown have a long way to run. Might be able to clean it up with the scraps though. Choi along the byline, but there was no one attacking it at the near post. So Travis Major's hands go to his head there. It's his goal that got the scoring started tonight. Blacktown need a second. They're to take anything from Christie Park this time. Spirit's press called into force. The ball's played back to Henderson. Clearance was better than some of his ones in the first half, and Pasewski's happy to just put his foot through it. Interesting little situation for Blacktown City now as well, knowing they've got that game in midweek, which is a big one against SD Raiders. They're favourites for it. Free kick's gone Blacktown's way here. Travis Major working his body in front, and so it's a City set piece. We saw Spirit building pressure via this route during the first half. Seems to be down that end. Blacktown now getting the decisions and firing in ball after ball. Will it result in an equaliser? Bit of a wrestling match going towards the back post. Yes goes near though. Olawalia heading the ball behind. Had his heels clipped by Lockie Campbell, but was not in the run of things.
Yes, Frankie, good positioning. Watch the run behind you, Frankie.
Yes to deliver. Deep option, which gives Marks a chance, but he was beaten to it. It's off the line initially, and then deflected behind. Heroic stuff from the Spirit backline. After Chris Marks had dropped the ball, under heavy pressure from a couple of on-rushing Blacktown players. Blacktown were that close to being level. Still the danger not averted. Maxim Yesh is getting his crosses right at the minute. Kubo managing to nod that one clear before Afuka swept it away. Just can't get out of their own half at the minute though, Spirit. Comes streaming out, and Kubo was very close to taking it off the toe of McKinley. Say the same of Contestabo of Hayward. Scraps it back to his goalkeeper in the nick of time. Lovely challenge from Williams, who thought he should have got the decision. There's going to be no win for the referee either way there. So it's Williams heading clear. Major and Choi. Hayward. Way by Williams. Vucevic just erring on it, and Fernandez, there was appeals for an offside flag, which was halfway up. Fuka clever enough to work his way out of it. It is all very tense here. 25 minutes to play, so much on the line for both teams. Blacktown really can't afford to leave here with nothing. They're to be serious contenders at the top end of the table over the final couple of months. Yeah, it's just wanted that one more than Starbuck. Bravest soul tonight to pick a winner from here, but Spirit, a front position. 2 goals coming before halftime through a Kubo and Michael Starbuck. Their top 2 scorers this season in the league. Might be a chance to get a third here as Alualia took it up. Smith, he's already got 1 assist tonight. That ball didn't quite have the quality he was looking for. Anderson towards Major, who'd lost his footing. Choi did enough to make sure it fell to Hayward. Yesh and Fernandez joining in his Kresnar. Shevsky into Yesh and away. Without real aim by Brady Smith. Spirit being put under the pump here. Lynch, the long-time futsal route for Ben Berry. Campbell for Major. Mr. Blacktown. Wearing the captain's armband tonight. Hayward's asking too much of McKinley. He's worked hard tonight, Jared McKinley. He's returned to Spirit FC. So Joey's rep for Australia. All the way back in his under 17 years. 23 years of age. Mark selects to go short. So an underrated season, Chris Marks, behind a defence that's been very solid, but a player that's been with Spirit through their promotion campaign. One of a number still out there tonight. He and Starbuck were pillars of that, along with Grant Cornwall. He's actually ruled out for the entirety of Spirit's first campaign up in the top division a couple of years ago with a knee injury. Managed to lift the Waratah Cup as captain. Still the only side from outside the first division of New South Wales football to do that, Spirit. Trying to claim this major piece of silverware in season 2025. Going to be in the hunt for the championship, but they'd love to put themselves back in the hat for the premiership, which they do with a win tonight. Gave up a bit of room with that poor run of form in April. Williams has lost his boot and so just knocks the ball out of play. He's actually going to ask to receive treatment here. Good technical player. Spent a lot of his time in this Spirit youth system. His brother Tyler's actually with the Sydney FC Academy at the moment. He's doing some work a little while ago. Not sure if he's still there, but under the Trefiro brothers at their Football Tack Academy. Fine technician. It's almost the most notable part of his play, even for a defensive player. opposite number McKinley, taking the throw from right in front of him. So Spirit defending with 10 for the moment. We'll tick into the final 20 minutes of this game. Still anyone's to win, Spirit's to lose at the moment. Kresna, lovely touch, took him inside Alawalia and into the area. Went down very softly under a non-challenge really from Cornwall. It's a really sloppy clearance. McKinley got past the initial challenge of Afuka, who just stuck in his foot for a second bite, and that concedes the free kick. Spirit putting themselves under some consistent pressure with these turnovers in their own half at the minute. Blacktown looking to make them pay full price. Came close a couple of minutes ago when Marks wasn't able to claim a corner and ball was fired back in, but wide. Yeah, really had to measure that one so precisely and then just drags down Afuka. What a great passage for the former Bonnyrigg man. David Perkovic echoing our sentiments up here. He wants his side to keep the ball a little more. That's what they built this lead on. Playing really tidy stuff with the ball. That's disappeared out the door since the start of the second half. High quality of this game has been a little absent as it becomes more and more desperate for both teams. I know how important the 3 points is tonight. Lucevic. Afuka's got space on the left, which we haven't seen too much in the second half. Campbell's going to be hard to get around, so he just lays it off for Nicholas. Berry only as far as Smith. Had words for himself as soon as he hit it. Well-travelled member of the Spirit midfield. Taking over from another player, Jared Lum, who retired at the end of last season. The centre of midfield. Well travelled through Southeast Asia. Freddie Smith's just returned from Cambodia. He's playing for Kirivong. Cambodian Super League over there. Playing both the second division of New South Wales football and first division down in Victoria. Major was trying to do it all himself, but Pasewski made sure he got his body in the way. Afuka dancing away from Haywood. Lucevic goes back for Smith, who managed to find his way through a couple of Blacktown players in midfield. And now Spirit finally are able to put their foot on the ball, really for the first time in the last 15 or 20 minutes. Just slowing the tempo. Have Blacktown missed their opportunity? Is the question. Just over 15 minutes to play. Spirit getting a little slower over their restarts. Referee Ivitsikovic seems to be losing patience with that. That's really wasteful from Pasewski.
If we're not pressing, we're sitting off.
Henderson, who has come under examination a bit for his distribution tonight. Spirit's high press forces that of goalkeepers. It's all become a little bit scrappy after we saw some gorgeous football in the opening half hour. There's another poor turnover. Good Blacktown been made to pay full price. Akubo slams it into Campbell and behind it goes. Just a little bit of a breather for their defence. Hasn't had too much of that in the second half. As things stand, Spirit will go level on points with Rockdale ahead of their game tomorrow. Marconi also in action, a game they're expected to win against out of form Mount Druitt Town. We'll love just an extra goal to give them an added measure of insurance. Big swing from Conestabo, and he caught clean air, and so Major can dribble forward with the football. Ball across was in a general direction rather than pinpointed towards Choi or Haywood. Smith and Akubo Ben Berry slams it into a couple of stands there. It's up a hand and apology to one of, I think, the Blacktown supporters that have made their way down to that end of the ground. Space for Pasewski if he wants to take it. Well, it's like this. Well, if you want the reason neither of these teams are right at the top of this competition, but are in the conversation, you've seen it across the entirety of this game. The opening 45 minutes, as high quality as you will see anywhere across this competition. It's really descended into a scrap in the second half. Fernandez trying to add a little bit of brilliance. Kinley was having his shirt held the whole way by Nicholas. Still he's beaten him to the byline, and Choi's had a brilliant save from Marks. That might end up being the winning moment for Spirit. 15 minutes to go. But a lovely spin from McKinley. Gorgeous cross. And Choi's header only just kept out. Shake of the head from the Korean-born attacking midfielder. Knows what a big moment that could have been. And Spirit hold themselves from conceding another chance like that in the final 15 minutes. Not with play like that. Kimi Afuka's touches deserted him the last 10 minutes or so. And then Choi, perhaps out of frustration as much as anything, just clatters into Simon Nicholas. The Spirit about to make their first change. Left it until the dying stages, but it's Harry Keys making a name for himself in this competition. Been part of the starting lineup the last couple of weeks, but getting a little bit of time for Michael Conestabo, whose goal has given Spirit the lead here. One of the more creative efforts in his career, chesting the ball home. From Yua Kubo's cross. At times that role's been reversed across this season.
You know you got two.
Key's first touch is a good one. Wins the ball back. Ball forward from Afuka, who's gone from an absolute delight to a player who's struggling to hit a 10-yard pass. He perhaps has been the barometer of Spirit's ball-playing ability across this match. Major, still trying to have an influence. He stepped past Williams, who didn't get much of the ball. Play on for now. Again, Nicholas has hold of McKinley, who wriggles clear. And now the free kick is blown. Complaints come from Spirit, understandably, but there was a free kick to be found there. Simon Nicholas is creating an unhealthy habit of just holding on to Jared McKinley. It's not been his finest defensive tactic, I have to say. McKinley to take the free kick, which he won. Mark's happy to punch. It's only as far as Kresnar. His only goal for Blacktown came on the opening day. It was an equaliser against Marconi. He can't send that effort goalward. They've had their chances, Blacktown, in this second half. One good save from Marks. A couple where they weren't able to trouble the goalkeeper. Had they managed to keep the ball on target, they will have found themselves level. storyline could change. 3 losses from 4 would end up being a lone win against Wolves down at Wynn Stadium a few weeks ago over the last month. Should this result hold, they could still turn the tide. That ball almost ran all the way to Major. Williams, the last line of defence. David Perkovic still looking for a reaction from his team. Choi, whose header was well saved by Marks about 5 minutes ago. And then Major, of all people, just knocking the ball out of play under very little pressure. Bemused look covering the face of Mark Crittenden. And now the yellow card. Ivica has warned Spirit a couple of times over taking their time about restarts. He's run out of patience. It's their first booking of the night. Double change coming for Mark Crittenden. Lachlan Campbell making his way straight off. Keanu Moore, his replacement. Marty Fernandez's dribbling power brings him to an end. Jesper Weber, his replacement. So it's an attacking change from Mark Crittenden. So they go to a back 4. That's going to leave them a little bit more open on the counter. Berry doing well enough to win the free kick off Lucevic, who looked a bit bewildered by the decision, but I think he knew what he'd done. Now it's Blacktown trying to keep the tempo up, but quick options not quite developed. So we'll get set to launch another one into the Spirit penalty box. My line is up there again. Cornwall reading the ball in best. First touch for Keanu Moore. Looking to him to add that little bit of quality in the final third in these dying stages. Here he is, Moore. Yesh. Choi, this is where he loves to operate. He'll line up, and he was trying to beat Marks at his near post. Skims past. Thunders into the fence behind the net. It's turning into defence against an attack. Blacktown City got the opening goal inside 20 minutes. Haven't been able to muster too much since. Forced Marks into a couple of saves, most notably from Danny Choi. Choi found a nutmeg amongst all that and turned it over. Lucevic clever. Still he goes, Frankie Lucevic. Keys was trying something clever, but Lynch has seen all that before. Still might spill clear for Afuka. Good challenge from McKinley. He's had a good night on his return to Christie Park. Might not result in a victory. He'll be happy with his individual display. It's offered Mark Crittenden's side plenty down the right touchline in both attack and defence.
Simo, coming your way! Simo!
Lynch and Berry being left to do the defending themselves now as Blacktown chase an equaliser. Walker Basic is taking off his tracksuit top. That's a sloppy touch from Hayward. Let Spirit off the hook for just a moment. Diving in to try and win it off a Kubo's toe, but he's good enough to retain possession. Could this game be killed off right here? Nicholas! Oh, and Harry Keys must finish. Afuka does. It took them 2 bites, but Spirit have sealed all 3 points with that goal. Takumi Afuka. All of David Perkovic's much vaunted front three have hit the score sheet and sewed up the 3 points. Their good run of goal scoring against Blacktown City continues. Their good run at Christie Park against this opposition. It remains unblemished. With just 5 minutes to go, City look down and out. They turned up their chances and they've been punished in kind. Only the question of what might have been. Brady Smith makes his way off. He's put in a fine performance through the centre of the park. He's not looking in full health, but he's been more than effective. And Afuka, his touch looked to have deserted him for parts of the second half. Pops up to score the third and seal the victory, you would have to think now. Harry Keys saw a first-grade goal in front of his eyes. Will go down as an unintentional assist, I feel. And so Spirit will go level with Rockdale tonight. Only behind them on goal difference. Rockdale's fantastic striking ability leading the way there. But Spirit managed to keep on totting up results. It's going to be 4 wins from their last 5 after that 9-game unbeaten run to start the season. It's all adding up to a very, very good season. They're third in this division. They are looking headed for their first final series. And Marko Ambasic has got fresh legs. Giving Lynch headaches, and Seb Haywood has not had his finest night. Loose touch which just takes it out of play. More seconds tick off the clock. A little bit of a fog coming over Christie Park now. Blacktown continuing to fade late in games, which will be of growing concern to Mark Crittenden. When Mitch Malia is able to return, will be at the forefront of Mark Crittenden's mind, as the cutting edge just looks to have gone out of their attack slightly over the past month. In addition to some problems in their defensive half, which have been consistent throughout the season. Can Choi give them a lifeline? He's got the wrong side of the defence, and Webber couldn't turn it home. Just a yard in front of him. Such a clever ball from Major to feed Choi. That's been the difference. Spirit have taken those moments tonight. Blacktown haven't been able to snatch them. Not the first half. This was such an enjoyable game. The second half hasn't quite been the watch the first half was. As McKinley clatters into Iwakubo. Spirit continuing because they've moved the ball forward quite nicely, and then Chidiak turned it over. Haywood looking to have a positive say before the end of the night. Put it into Pasewski. Might get a second bite. Kresnar been lively down the left, looking for that last bit of quality. Bundled over by Grant Cornwall. Such a firm figure. Got his body position spot on to see off the danger. Looks as though there's going to be time for one more late Spirit change, or a couple more. Charlie Broomhead, the youngster, and Austin Oates being readied. How about the grappling match going on there? Aaron Basic, very much the meat in the sandwich, and then Yes just diving through Simon Nicholas, who's happy with the results and the circumstances. End of the night for Simon Nicholas. He's had to battle. He's got through a lot of work. Winning that last free kick, very much representative of what a clever footballer he is. Yua Kubo on the score sheet again tonight. Got an assist as well. Early front runner for player of the match. And so once all is said and done, not for the first time this season for Spirit. What a signing he's been. It's a bright spot for Hills United in their campaign last year, but he's been such an astute pick-up by Spirit. A player who's gone to another level in this high-flying team. We're going to get 5 minutes to be added on at the end of this second half, but unless Blacktown can find something very early in that allotment, I feel it's going to be consigned to the history books without too much thought.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! Well done, Marco!
Aaron Basic's desire has been superb since coming on. Chasing down lost causes, throwing his body at Grant Leach and Ben Berry, who look out of legs. Chance for Austin Oates, who's knocked it in! His first touch since coming off the bench! What a moment! A first senior goal for Austin Oates, the cherry on top of the cake for Spirit. And what an adept piece of finishing it was as well. Didn't have much space in which to operate, but the youngsters a moment to remember. And Blacktown once again have been rolled over in the second half. Spirit have 4 against them again. Remarkable. The third straight game they managed that against Blacktown City. And their great record against them at this ground continues. And this is not a game that will be one too many look at come the end of the season, but it could be a defining one in terms of who's really chasing titles. Spirit look the real deal. Blacktown City have been slightly found out this evening. The scoreline might flatter Spirit slightly, especially considering the pressure that Blacktown put on them early in the second half, but they didn't take the moments that they managed to create. And the defensive frailties have once again come back to bite them. Kai Williams has stayed down, which Spirit are none too happy about. Blacktown being allowed to restart. Yesh blazes well over. And Kai Williams is in some pain here. Tried to return to his feet, but wasn't able. Not the first time he's been down in this second half, so I hope it's just a little stinger on the ankle or similar. But with this victory, Spirit are right in the title race again. Actually, it looks like a bit of cramp. It was the sort of face Kyle Williams was making. Just a little pull of the calf or the hamstring. So Rockdale and Marconi know now, if they don't get the 3 points tomorrow, there's a third among them. Spirit were the early season pace setters. April meant that they fell off that pedestal somewhat. But they've proven over the last month it was no fluke. They're going to do the double against Blacktown City. Done that once before. David Perkovic has Mark Crittenden's measure at the moment. Didn't exactly develop into the tactical battle we might have anticipated, but the individuals at Spirit's disposal have executed better tonight. The 4-1 scoreline shows that the 4-0 earlier in the year was not by chance. Blacktown had their chances at the start of the second half when they trailed by just 2-1, but some smart goalkeeping from Marks meant they weren't able to get themselves back in the game. And then Takumi Afuka tapped home, and Austin Oates got a first grade goal to seal all 3 points. Spirit moved level on points with Rockdale at the end of the night. Blacktown suddenly staring tenuously at their great rivals Sydney United below them as they take on Sydney FC at Adenza Park tomorrow. That's the story of the night. The front three doing the business for Spirit FC, again against Blacktown City. Alex Molchanoff signing off from Christie Park for Football New South Wales on this Saturday night. It's finished. Northwest Sydney, Spirit FC 4, Blacktown City 1.